No, I'm not kidding. It's and no tunnels or anything. Boom, that's it. In one fraction of a fraction, not even knowing you're going. And then you wake up 6 minutes later and realize what's happened. And that's it, you're out, you know.
Yeah. Well, you've been living on bonus time ever since
Borrowed.
that
Ever
that tunnel.
since this here.
Well, no,
1982.
yeah, but I'm thinking back in '45 when you were in that tunnel. I mean, you very
what was
easily.
it, 10 million men we had out there. A
Yeah.
lot of people, not 10 million in combat.
Yeah.
But 10 million men, of which 1 million or 1.5 million, whatever it is a very common thing. You don't think of it in that sense. But on the other hand, you think, hey, I was lucky I got through. And each chooses to live his life the way they will. And the determining factor probably was part of that, of considering, are you living it or not, you know.
Yeah. Are there any other things that we should talk about before we bring the interview to a close?
Before
I said before we bring the interview to a close. Any other things that?
Very family oriented. 5 children, 9 grandchildren. All the guys and gals are out in their own life, and the thing we stressed. That doesn't mean anything happens that way, but the thing we stressed was, do it your way, you know, and go. And they all are their own way. We're all very different. Very close. We're very animal-oriented, my wife and I. We share everything together. It's been, you got to be lucky. It's 53 years and very rich. No regrets or anything. Could happen tomorrow, and I wouldn't, you know. But I'm not going to let it happen unless I still like life.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do that to her. So I'll hang in there as long as I can.
Yeah.
But no wars. Don't get me on that subject unless you ask me. I'll tell you.
Well, tell me.
Oh, I think it's horrible what we're doing. Just a horror. Horrible situation. And I know the politics involved and what the problems are and what problems are for both parties and resolving it right now. The country is way ahead of them. They don't want it. They want it over, and that's it. We haven't done any favors to anybody, and there's suffering all over the world coming out of this. And it'll continue. We're in danger because of it. Anyway, I'm not with that kind of thing.
You've never had any doubts
and the soldiers that are involved in right now, oh, God, what they're going through. I mean, there's no question of the hardships. It's constant. It's one thing to lie in a foxhole, and they're going to have to come to you. No matter where you're going there, you don't know where it's going to hit. And it's all very, very difficult. So, anyway.
You've had no doubt about the rightness of World War II.
None at all.
Any wars since then that that you think have been worth fighting?
None.
None.
None. Absolutely none. And especially this one.
Yeah.
But Vietnam, of course, but none really. There were other ways of resolving the same thing. Yeah, we went through, it's very easy for everybody now, but we went through a time in which it was the nuclear holocaust that was going to happen. It was hanging over everybody's head, and it was a lot closer than we thought, actually. And it had to be resolved, and how it got resolved as it did is a miracle of miracles. People who came up through that age have always gone, oh, how do we get away with this thing? And now it's a non-existent thing. But wars are not the way to do it.
Yeah. Well, I very much enjoyed talking with you today. Your love of life and enthusiasm is contagious. You
got a sparkle in your eye.
And so it's been a real pleasure, and I'd like to thank you for talking with me, and I'd like to thank you for your service to your country.
It's been a pleasure both ways.
Good.